What's going on, guys? What would you do if you were struggling when it comes to finding great talent to help you build and grow your brand? That's what we're going to be talking about today on today's series of What Would You Do If? What is going on, everybody? My name is Henry Kaminski. I go by the Brand Doctor, and today is another live stream. What would you do if? And today I want to talk about building and growing your team with great talent. This has come up over and over and over again in conversation with colleagues, conversation with clients. And so I thought it would be important to do a live stream about this particular topic. Before we get into that, guys, real quick, if you guys are struggling when it comes to designing a great brand experience for your business, you're struggling with putting your messaging out there, you're struggling with positioning, you're not quite sure if your brand identity is holding its own, for lack of better words, I highly recommend you book a brand assessment with me today where you and I sit down together and hash out what is stopping you from building the brand that you envision for yourself and your team. So with all that said, guys, let's get into today's topic. Finding great talent. I hear this a lot. I can't find anybody that's going to work as hard as me. I can't find good talent. I'm struggling in this department, and that's what's stopping my fill in the blank, right? Now, we got a little guest in the background, as you can see. My wife and son are out playing in the snow, and this guy's getting a little jelly. But so you try not to let him distract you too much. So I kind of agree with what these clients are saying and what these folks are saying when it comes to finding great talent. Yes, great talent is hard to come by sometimes, but it's also easy to come by if you ask the right questions and you are positioning yourself properly, right? It all comes down to positioning, doesn't it? So I want to share with you some of the things that I've done to help build and scale my team over the years. At one point, we had 18 team members that were full-time, that were working on my behalf, and we were doing some crazy numbers. Since then, I wanted to scale back the business a little bit because I had some other things I wanted to do. So I wanted to make sure I was doing everything with the quality and standard that I run with. And so I scaled back quite a bit. We have a way more lean and mean team these days than the past, but still kicking some ass. Okay. So I want to share with you a couple things. So there's two types of hires, right? There's two types of hires. You're going to hire somebody to fill a void, or you're going to hire somebody to do something that you completely suck at, or you're going to hire somebody that's going to help you become an extension of who you are. Okay. So understanding who you're hiring and what you're hiring for is very, very important. So you want a person to strengthen your strengths. And you also want a person that is going to help you fill that void. So for example, I'm not a big numbers guy. I'll be honest with you. That's why I have people like bookkeepers and CPAs that do that number crunching for me. They have it in a nice spreadsheet, and it's very clear to me what needs to be done, right? So it looks like our man Oasis is in the house. What up, Henry? Tuning in from the airport. We'll see you on Wednesday, my friend. We'll see you on Wednesday. We miss you, dude. All right, so understanding that, okay? So what is the position that you're trying to fill? Is it to fill a void, or is it to leverage who you are and strengthen your strengths? All right. Number two, I highly recommend that you hire based on value alignment. I'll give you an example. When I am bringing on a new team member, I am asking them questions that revolve around two places: urgency and effort. Okay. So turnaround time for me is very, very important. The quicker we could get something turned around for our client, the quicker they could start making money with it. Right. So, and the same thing with me when my team is working on internal programs and internal projects. I want to get that back and live as soon as possible so I can go to market with it. Right. So I'm very interested in the urgency that people have. I want to see the fire in their eyes. I want to see go-getters. I want to see that ambition. I want to see that fire. Now, it doesn't need to be as hot as mine because I know there's only one Henry Kaminski in this world, and I don't expect my team members to be a clone of me. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is effort. I want to see what level of effort that you're going to put in to my work, whether it's for me, again, or for a client. Are you going to go the extra mile? Are you going to give me additional samples? Are you going to put something in front of me that we didn't discuss, but you thought it was a great idea, so you wanted to throw it by me? You know, it's that proactive thinking, right? And I don't want to see like half-ass work either, where this is good enough, let's just get it out there. No, I want to see how much effort. And I could tell how much effort you put into it by the result, right? The end result. So those are two big values inside of Unique Designz that I hold very, very high. So I can't have a team member that's very laxed. I can't have a team member that's not that's not going to put in 200% effort into a project. Not at the level that we're at today. That's not going to fly. Right? So again, setting those standards and being very clear with the values that are inside your business and communicating that to your hire. You're going to know right away. I'm going to give you some questions later that are going to help you navigate that conversation. So for example, you're interviewing a new team member, a prospective team member. One question that I would ask is, describe yourself in 3 words. I want to see how they feel about themselves. I'm very impressed by self-awareness. Self-awareness. If they're always Debbie Downer, if they're always talking negative, if it's always what was me, if it's always, I don't want that. I don't want that in my team. I don't want that around me. I don't want that energy in this company. But if it's, we were just having this conversation, me and a friend from high school yesterday, we were just having this conversation about partnerships. You know, who would you rather partner with? Somebody that is like, all right, shit hit the fan. How do we fix this? And what do each of us need to do to make it go away or to make it better? Or do you want to partner to, oh boy, here we go. We're never going to make that back. Oh, we got to start firing people. Oh, I knew this wasn't going to work. Who do you want in your team? Right? So you're going to know when people use those 3 words to describe themselves, what category they put themselves in. Okay. Then I would love to ask what their weaknesses are. Give me 3 or 4 weaknesses. Right. And I just curious to see what they say. Okay. And then here's another one I got from Sarah Blakely. I thought this one was a good one. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? And how would you give it away? How would you give it? How would you give it? That's a great conversation. You're going to learn a lot about somebody when they answer that question. Okay. Now, when it comes to firing fast, this is something that comes pretty easy to me. It comes very, very hard for others. You could ask Gary Vaynerchuk. He talks about it a lot, where he hates firing people and he gets people to do it because it's so awkward for him. For me, it's not that awkward. It's very straightforward. Right. And I have a case before I have this conversation with someone. Right. So I want you to make sure that if you have a team member that isn't pulling their weight, dragging people down, or driving you mad, get rid of them and get rid of them fast. No hard feelings, but we got to let you go. And here's why. Okay. But make sure you have your case. Okay. The longer you keep those people in your business, it is like a cancer that is not being attended to. It will grow, it will fester, and it will eventually destroy. Okay. So don't do this to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. And don't do it to your team. So internally, it's going to be in your head all day long, and it's going to keep you unfocused and cloudy. But externally, this could be a huge spoil to the team. And that is going to be a detriment to your business. Okay. So let me know if you guys are getting this. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, drop them in the comments. I'm happy to answer any of these as we continue. So you got to understand, you got to fire fast. All right. But now, how do we find that great talent? Well, great talent is going to show themselves. They're going to be representing their work. They're going to be putting themselves out there. And you're going to know right away, you're going to get that vibe. They're either going to be the same frequency or they're not. And they're going to help you qualify them. Okay? The next thing is to set those expectations. I think that's where a lot of people fall flat, especially the entrepreneur that's hiring. If you are not clear with your expectations, your potential team member is not going to read your mind. They're not. Okay? So you have to be very, very clear. When I submit a job and I put a due date to it, this is when I expect it back. If you're not going to get it back to me by that date, I need open communication giving me a heads up. Because if I have to tell a client that the work's pushed back a day or two, I want to be able to do that with confidence. I don't want surprises. And I don't want to surprise my clients unless it's a bag of cash or it's a bonus that I'm throwing in because they were such a great client. Okay. So this is what I do with clients, with team members. I always put some sort of trial day in it. So I'm going to bring on a new team member. I'm going to either give them a 30-day trial. I hate to use the word trial, and I hate to use the word probation. When I was in corporate, before my health insurance kicked in, they put me on a 90-day probation because if I didn't make those 90 days, they're not going to start paying me health insurance, right? So this is where I got this from. So you can mix it up any which way you like, whatever works better for you. But I would put a 30, 60, or a 90-day trial on that new team member. See how they work, see how they do the first 30 days, and then have an evaluation, have a sit down with them. Go to next 30 days. So now you're 60 days. See how they're getting along with the other team members. See how they're communicating with you and interacting with you. Pay attention to the work that they're producing. Is it up to par or is it substandard? So at the end of the 90 days, if they didn't fulfill their promise or they're not what they thought they were going, they didn't come across the way they presented themselves in that interview, get rid of them. Get rid of them. This way, you're not stuck for a year. And as long as you're clear in your expectations, they know that that's coming. Bingo, done. End of story. There's nothing to argue. Okay? Now, this is probably the most important part of the whole video. And it's knowing what you want as the business owner. So I'm going to give you some pointers on what we want in Unique Designz. Number one, we want trust. If I can't trust you as a team member, you don't have a shot in hell. Okay? Communication. It has to be open. It has to be open. If you're not going to meet a deadline, you're not going to get beat over the head with a bat. You're not getting fired as long as you communicate it. And if another team member isn't pulling their weight, you have the right to reach out to them directly and ask for clarification or ask for them to do it a different way to help you get your job done. So open communication in Unique Designz is so important. Okay. I can't emphasize this enough, but clear expectations. When I assign a task, it's very clear. And I always end each task with, if you need help or more clarification before you start this project, please reach out to me. I am here to help you. You can ask any one of my team members. That's how I finish every one of my tasks when I'm giving out the information, right? So if they're stuck, they come to me, because what I don't want is 5 days to go by and then have some shit work come back and it's wrong. It's all wrong. So setting those expectations up front, this is what I expect. This is some samples. This is what I'm thinking. This is how this is what's in my head. Let me transfer it over to you the best I can, but I don't want to micromanage. So please feel free to have that liberty to create. And our projects always come out fantastic. You know, yeah, it might not be first shot. It might need a round or two, but very rarely do we have to go into multiple rounds of changes, because the way I set my expectations and how clearly I communicate. Okay. Integrity is a big one. If you're not standing behind your team, I've seen this in the past where entrepreneurs let their team members get bullied by clients. What do you think that does for culture? How do you think that person feels now about you as their leader? So integrity is huge. I will never let a client beat up on my team members. I will fire the client before I fire that team member, especially if that team member I know is getting beat up and doesn't deserve it. So integrity is very important. Purpose. What is everybody in your team working for? Have you clearly articulated that? Unique Designz, we're here to make better communicators in this world. That's what we're doing. That's our contribution to this world. This is my life's work, making better communicators. My team is all on board for that because they want the same. And then lastly, empowering. Our culture is very empowering. I want to give my team members all the tools they need to make life easier for them, but make the project and product outstanding. That's huge. So knowing your culture as a business and being able to explain that, like I just did, likes attract likes. Likes attract likes. So you're going to find that. It's the law of attraction at its best. Okay? And then you set the tone. At the end of the day, you set the tone. It's your business. You set the tone. No one else. So here's the last but not least, and then I'll get into some question. There's a couple great questions here. Understand that building a team is an investment. It's an investment in human resources. And they're not robots, they're people. They have feelings, they have emotions. They have their own goals, they have their own values. Whether they align with yours or not is the question. But understanding that building a team is an investment. If you treat people like they're disposable, you will always have a high churn rate. If you treat people, like human beings, with respect, they're going to feel that. They're going to go the extra mile for you. Okay? And last but not least, guys, patience, patience, and patience. You have to be patient with your team members. I was talking to somebody on Instagram over the weekend, and he was saying it's hard to find front-facing, client-facing team members to do what I want them to do the way I want them to do it. I said, they're never going to do it the exact same way that you want them to do it. So just be patient and understand that in order to get that, you got to groom them. You got to train them. You got to coach them. Eventually, they're going to get it or they're not going to get it. That's why you set those trial periods in play. By 90 days, they should get it. If not, now you have a decision to make. So very, very important to understand that, guys. And I believe if you follow what I just put out there, you're going to find the right talent and you're going to be able to retain them for a long time. My design team, 4 years they've been on my squad. 4 years. Yeah, a couple of them came and went, but my lead designer and his team have been with me for 4 years. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Okay, here's a great question. How have you fallen short in the past, and what are you doing to prevent that from happening in the future? Okay, so falling short of what? Hiring and firing the right people, or just falling short in general? I think I can answer it both ways. One is, the more articulate I could be, the better outcome I'm going to get. That's one. But falling short is understanding why I fell short, how I felt how I fell short, and what was the lesson or the big takeaway, and what could I do differently in the future. Sales was never a strong suit for me, believe it or not. Believe it or not, I struggled with sales, especially the high ticket sales once I raised all my prices. So how did I get through that? I practiced my ass off. I hired coaches. I practiced with my team. I would practice with strangers in Facebook groups. And I just built that muscle, one over the other, one rep after the next. So it's the same in team building. It's the same in team building. But one of the things that you have to understand is building a team is a big investment, and you must have the patience to do it. And every time, everything you do matters to that person. It's going to affect them negatively or positively. So remember that. And I think you're going to win. Okay. We got some points here. Love this question. The question shows great self-awareness and humbleness. Yep. And then Michelle says, great question, Q. The answer will show the amount of self-awareness and humbleness. Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it, guys. That's how you hire the right people, fire the right people, and build a strong team where you can find the great talent that you're looking for, because it's out there. I always tell people, be the client you wish to attract. Well, be the leader that you want to attract, because you're going to need a squad of leaders as your business grows. And you guys are going to share the same values, and the company culture is going to fit within everybody. That's the key. So hire based on value, alignment. You could always coach people up. You can. I would hire a B-level team member and get them to an A if our values are in line, versus an A level with a value misalignment. So it's a lot easier when people speak your language, isn't it? That's the key to hiring the right people. So hope you enjoyed this, guys. We will see you Wednesday. I haven't come up with the topic just yet, but it's going to be a more tactical approach on how to hire and fire the right team members for your business. So check us out 2 p.m. Eastern Wednesday. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, drop us a comment. I'll be quick to respond. And if you found this valuable, please share this and let me know your biggest takeaway. Curious to see what your biggest takeaway was from this conversation. So have an amazing day, guys, and I will catch you on Wednesday. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.